The thing is clicked. Hey guys, what's going on? Memes here. And I'm joined with fellow Pace One honorable mention, Daniel Varga. Say hi to everybody, Daniel.
Hello, everyone.
Yes. And for those that don't know, this Daniel was actually one of the gentlemen that was on the other day when we I done a little video on the theories of everything Pace One, like honorable mention. He was one of the gentlemen there, and I'm not sure if it was done intentionally or just happened to work out. I'm like, oh, this is a group of folks I had run across. I remember you and James's conversation on Discord and everything. I apologize if I'm doxing or anything like that, but it's like I my conjecture is had you not even done your jumping continuity theory, which we're totally going to dive into, and that's a fact. Shout out to Sonic Gravity Podcast. I'm totally stealing that meme, but it's the people very often that are behind the scenes that you don't even necessarily know that they exist, but they're like bringing different folks together, just taking different ideas. It's like, okay, maybe I don't necessarily know that, but I know a person that talks about that a lot. Maybe you should meet this person. Maybe there should be some overlap. And that's the type of stuff that I totally love, just because even if it doesn't matter if would I want thousands or millions of people to watch this video? Sure, because it's eventually going to lead to money for me, hopefully. But my thing is, okay, if it reaches one person, if somehow this video ends up in somebody's algorithm that all of a sudden they take a look at some of Daniel's stuff, they take a look at some of James's stuff, Roy's stuff, or maybe check out some of my stuff. Again, totally in my self-interest. We should be honest about these things. Um, it's I love folks like that, and we're having you in on. And Daniel, why don't you? I'll embiggen you, and why don't you tell folks a little bit about yourself, how you came about the greater toe community, and why you decided to submit.
Yeah, all right. So actually, I am from Hungary, Middle Europe. I was trained as an environmental engineer, and at that time when I started to study, I I was always interested in the deepest questions people can ask. I wanted to be a good person overall, and I spent a lot of time tinkering, reading, and understanding ideas. And and actually, well, in the recent 10 years, I'm
Yeah.
just jumped on the actually on my theory. I started to work on that pretty much always every day or almost every day. I'm just has the passion
How
for it.
about how long ago had you started?
It's about 10 years ago.
Okay, cool. Continue. Sorry.
No problem. So I just doing that every day, and in the last 2 years, I 2 years ago saw Curt channel. I sent him an email as well actually that time because I knew I had the theory, but I didn't publish. I didn't share it
Yeah.
because some reasons maybe we will talk about. Um,
Welcome, T
so
Car. Oh, continue. Sorry.
yeah, so that's basically it. I can just I have lots of things. Let me say I have a wonderful wife who supports me with doing everything. I have a really good family all together. I have a twin brother who is loving,
Wow.
and my parents, and that's the first one. I have a job as an IT analyst in an
Wow.
international bank as the second most important thing. The third most important thing, this is my theory. The fourth is I am actually a volunteer developer in a MMORPG game
We're
which
gonna have to talk about that at some point. I'm totally bringing that. Welcome, Whitechapel. What's going on, my man?
hi there, yeah. And and the five thing, I like to play football. That's where my flow comes in. I just totally forgot everything
Ooh.
when I play football. And At some point I was good at it, but I just went into more in the mind realm, not in the physical realm.
Yeah. When you're not like 20 years old anymore, it's not the same. It's not. You can't just all of a sudden go to sleep for like 3 hours, and then all of a sudden it's like I'm at full HP again. It doesn't quite work as well once you start getting. My dad's friends, God rest his soul, always told me it's like, don't get old, don't get old. And you hear that as a younger person, you're like, oh, blah, 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 and you're like, oh God, totally right. Allegedly,
Yeah,
some biotech companies are working on that, but that's I the Memes of Destruction channel does not provide medical advice. I am a dude on the internet. I stand by that. And I'm joined here by Daniel. But no, we got some folks here. I know T Car is big over in the greater toe areas as well. I see him roaming around. I see him roaming around everywhere. I'm not sure if it was him or someone else at one point was like, "You're everywhere." I remember somebody telling me because I'll just randomly. I tend to be one of those people like I go where the algorithm takes me, and I'm like, okay, what if this was where I was meant to be? Because there's a lot of other things. It's like, okay, this will be fun to watch. This will entertain me. Will I learn something? Maybe there's something here because I really think the algorithm shows you what you see. A lot of people like apparently getting very angry on the internet. I was one of those. I am one of those people, but I try to learn from that. But what you were just touching on there, the whole point of flow and just getting into the groove, I feel like I actually have like certain ideas and stuff that come to my mind when like I'm going out for a run. Like I think we have discussed it a little bit before. I like going out for a jog and everything. I'll probably do that after this. And just it's something we're so accustomed to. It's something like we use minimal effort. I kind of call it like they do in. I'm big into anime. If you couldn't tell from my little reel I was sharing before, they call it Magate no Akue something, Ultra Instinct, where basically your body just responds. And I have some examples maybe we could talk about a little bit at some point. But with you, Daniel, yeah, dude, it sounds like you got a lot of blessings in life. You are extremely blessed in so many different ways. That's a wonderful thing. And the sheer fact that where I see you reciprocating that positivity out there into these different communities, that's something that I got from Whitechapel as well. Just because he's one of those dudes where within different valence communities and other parts of the internet, like he started creating all these custom character cards and stuff like this based upon like a card collector game, Yu-Gi-Oh. It's dual monsters and stuff. I grew up. I loved watching all that stuff. I kind of meme myself like with like the Blue Eyes White Dragon and stuff.
yeah, I
That's the
see.
tune.
Uh-huh.
That's the tune version because I'm kind of a cartoon character. I've been told. Um, but he created all these wonderful things, and it's just nobody asked or anything. To be fair, I asked several times, and he did for some of my other friends as well. And just you see people putting positivity out there, and these are folks that some folks may never even know who they are, but we all affect everybody. And one of the things that I noticed with jumping continuity theory, where I literally just finished listening to the second part before we got on here, but it sounds like, and correct me if I'm sure I'm going to get this wrong, is you start from like the base, the most fundamental things as we know it, and you just started to build up. And I noticed there seems to be some continuity, if you would, perhaps between Tyler Goldstein's and Chris Lejo's toes. Tyler's I've listened to, Chris's I haven't yet. It's on the list of things to listen to that I may or may not get to. But why don't you tell us a little bit about how you kind of got to these ideas and everything, and kind of like how you kind of went about thinking about these things.
Yeah, it's well. I could be here really long. To I'm not sure actually how to deal with it. Maybe I can just pitch a little bit about the theory,
Yeah, no,
and
no,
then
go for that. Whatever direction you want. Whatever direction you
because
want.
maybe we will get a little bit better about out of it.
If
So
you want to share anything, there's a present button down at the bottom there. If you click present, you can go to a window or a particular tab, and you can share your screen if you want me to bring anything up for folks to take a look at. You don't have to, just in
yeah,
case
maybe
you wanted
maybe we
to.
will do it. I have here a drawing board, I just came and brought as well. So so yeah, you are kind of right, but kind of wrong. What you just explained about
Go on.
simplest thing and just build up. So the whole theory is just so complex. You would need to spend a lot of time to grasp the whole idea. So it's really hard. If I just pitch this to someone, I will do it in 10 minutes. You might say, all right, this is okay, that can I can accept that, all right, I don't understand or I don't want to accept that, and then they just forget it. But this is deeper. Just today I saw some video something about that. So but anyway, I can also talk about too much, so let me know if I'm just too much. So let me try to introduce my idea a little bit more concise as I see it, and then you can jump in and we will see how that goes. So so actually, what I am talking about is we are a multicellular organism, right? As a human being, that's what we know at least. That's our current understanding.
Hmm.
Let's imagine the time when multicellular organism didn't exist. That let's say that was 2 billion years ago. 2 billion
Okay.
years ago we had Earth, and there was only the maximum size of organism was the unicellular organism, right? And then what happened in this 2 billion years time frame? We built up to the multicellular organisms. So that's where we
Okay.
are, right? So, so what I am claiming at here is what we are doing right now is we doing kind of similar things, but the unicellular did back in the day 2 billion years ago. So we are starting to build cities, we start to get cooperation, and we start to get bigger in that sense. So that's actually the core idea in my theory, and it comes with mathematics later, it comes with details, but that's the whole idea, that's the core idea. And even I claim that in the scientific community can be approved and can be uh, accepted later on. And that's my goal. I would like to share this idea even in the scientific community, even in journals, but I'm outside of academia at the moment. I tell that story maybe later a little bit. That has some purpose, but so you might get some more information about from this.
Hmm. Okay, no, no, this is this is why I like to have people on and stuff, because now I can actually ask and or what you just explained there, because I had started listening to your thing. I think I was like 20 or so minutes through it, and then I had finished it the other day, maybe earlier, and then I listened to the second part earlier before we did the little thing on your channel. That video should be coming out. I'll totally send it out too. Um, but it sounds like you're starting off from the simplest things as we know it. And the claim actually makes a heck of a lot of sense is over time, simple things can build up to be much more complex systems. And you've done a pretty deep analysis because I saw you going into the graphs and the charts and everything. And I'm like, I didn't do all the micro details and didn't throw it all in and chart it out myself. But I'm like, this man is very involved, and it sounds like you've spent a lot of time thinking about this. So,
Yeah,
groovy.
actually, I spent around 3 hours in explaining to myself the theory, and the 36 minutes you see that came from that 3 hours.
Hmm.
So just to try to myself understand clearly, and that was the good opportunity from the this contest.
Mm-hmm.
I plan to do this in this year actually, but and I wrote the book actually. I'm just writing it, but but it is too hard. Also, I try to do it in English. I try to do it in my language. I didn't do it in Hungarian yet because actually I hide it a little bit because I was concerned if this knowledge comes out, it might be dangerous and might be hurting too much what I wish to. And also, I wanted to be really, really sure I don't bring anything bad into the table because lots of ideas out there, too many stuff. I didn't want to bring another, I'm not sure how to say it, but it's another thing, you know?
I believe Professor Brett and Heather Haying put it this way.
Are we memeing ourselves into oblivion?
Yes.
Sorry, you memeing or
Memeing.
bleeding?
Are we memeing ourselves into oblivion? I asked them at one point. Basically, the mimetic things, basically, because an idea can be a meme. That's the thing, because I believe
Yeah.
Richard Dawkins, it's like, all right, you get gemes, you get memes. Memes are contagious and stuff. No, I totally hear you. I have to push back a little bit with love and respect. Yes, T-Car, you totally came from Professor Keating. But the thing is, I think that same thing, and I still wrestle with that a lot. I came to the generalized conclusion that, in my opinion, as a dude on the internet, I think most knowledge should be free. Are there certain things that we shouldn't put out there? Probably not. Probably not. I mean, even Hogwarts had the restricted section. Maybe it was restricted for a reason, but it still existed. My thing is, if I'd love to see us get to a point where just humanity as a total, like we basically, at least every human being had just a modicum human decency of like living, not having to worry about where the next meal is coming from. Because I mean, after that, now we're just arguing about like fancier schmancier things. And don't get me wrong, I like shiny things, but it sounds like the sheer fact that that's one of your considerations. You feel like you have something that's important, something that can contribute to humanity, but at the same time, I think this is the thing that Batman kind of wrestled with. That's why Batman would buy all the cool weapons and stuff, because he's like, I will have this so no one else can. Because he's like, this is dangerous and stuff. And so it's showing that you're almost acting a little bit, maybe I'm personifying here because that's what I totally do. You're acting a little bit like a hero with some of your things. At least maybe that's an overly grandiose claim, but the sheer fact that people like you are thinking about that, that's what gives me hope. So
Yeah, all right. So I had some thoughts, but actually I forgot about that. But it's all right. It will come later. So yeah, you know yeah, about the internet. I think also most of the knowledge should be free, and that's why I also offer my theory for everyone, and hopefully someone will get something out of it. I hope in later more people will benefit from it, but I'm sure in this 1 year, no, not much people will just start to look into it because this is the first or last year I just published anything. That's important. I, you know, I can say I understand my theory, but with one YouTube video, no one will understand it truly how I do. So that's really important for the theorists as well. And I have to mention Tyler Goldstein here, James Sirua, Roy Dobson. They see these things, and Tyler even explicated something like this in his YouTube video on for Pace One, which I really adore. Um, um, yeah, but actually on Tyler, I'm happy, but I am sad a little bit because I wanted to hear his ideas in a little bit more concise way, like in half an hour, an hour, and then I can be a little bit better to understand his view and then go forward. I used to be on Tyler Discord, and he's really open and talking about his ideas at every Thursday, I think. So you guys, if you're interested, just feel free to go there and get a talk with Tyler. He's open about it, and so yeah, it's so one more thing, you know, in 100 years ago, humans, not everyone could just write and learn and read, right? So
Mhm.
so in this last 100 year, almost every culture, I think we are at a 80% literacy. We can just find the graph, I think, on the internet. My latest knowledge, the literacy is just around 80% globally or something like that. That's crazy, right? So I this is I think the next step. I think we will reach that goal you mentioned. Everyone get meal, everyone get shelter, everyone can even get later free knowledge, and that will transform the world for sure. And that's where we are heading. And that's my actually, this is good because I have a strong worldview now with my theory. That's I can just see things you not everyone can see. It just naturally comes from this knowledge. Um, yeah.
It's a different perspective. Some folks use different terms of differing magnitudes. Like I hear the words enlightened or whatever adjective you'll want. I apologize because I feel like that's very important to some folks, and I apologize for my blasphemy. But just having a different perspective, because it's like I truly believe we're all more similar than we are different, but we do each have our own unique life experience there. And that's why I like talking to different people, because it's like, okay, what perspectives have I never even considered? Did I never even had the ability to conceptualize? And just being able to speak with folks like you or some other folks, like I had Kali, shout out to Kali Fisher. Um, she has a model for cosmology, neutron decay cosmology, and she just likes pitching the heck out of that. And I'm like, do I necessarily agree with everything that she says? No, and that's totally fine. However, she hammered home the importance of energy density into my skull. And I'm like, that's very important. I find that very useful. And that's why I'll take that knowledge and apply it in different areas and different folks I come across there. And that's why I'm like, okay, when you say things like that, just even sharing the analogy of just when you're playing football, or for us Americans, soccer, um, doing something like that, that just you're so used to, just you get into kind of the zone and you're able to just kind of cruise through and just do the things that you do the best that you can. Like, I find even myself, it's like I get some of my best ideas doing things like that. And it's like, just because it's something that's natural, and to get another person's perspective to see what works for them, it's like, I hadn't considered this, maybe I'll incorporate this knowledge, like Sam Harris says. Because I totally, if we incorporate new knowledge, it's like, well, if we were doing something, basically, if we have new knowledge and our worldview actually changed because now we have additional information, if that would adjust how we were doing things before, why wouldn't we adjust? I mean, if we were doing it, if we were to view it as wrong, wouldn't we want to adapt? I mean, it's not like we live in a society because you're not supposed to say you're sorry. That just sounds, I mean, that just sounds unreasonable to set up a system like, I'm sorry, I'm venting, Daniel. I apologize for that. But I I love having on people that have good vibes and stuff like that. I know we talked a little bit about that on your channel. Just it can see so much doom and gloom there, and just seeing different community makers, if you would. I personally, I would call you a pathfinder. That's that's basically my solution to a lot of stuff on the internet. It's like we need like the gray Jedi of the internet, the Jedi minus the religion. Because if you get the religious aspects, it's a topic for a different time. We're like Jedi, we just require more kyber crystals. But the whole point is finding some method of just coming to either consensus or like what's maybe an optimal scenario and a terrible scenario there. Just when I come across folks like you, just putting in the work, just talking to different folks, seeing what's going on, sharing ideas, and just encouraging people. Dude, a small kindness can just mean the world to somebody. It can make all the difference. And you never know who's going to affect somebody else. And that might be what it takes to get us to where it sounds like you and I both want to head towards. I think that's
Yes,
pretty cool.
and yeah, actually, there is a network science book and idea. You guys probably don't know because it's Hungarian origin. It's unfortunately I read that book and article a long time ago, but the basic idea is there in the systems, some of the most valuable elements or agents in the system who brings together both some different sizes. And actually I see you as that kind of a person. There is two system, and there is a middle person who brings this knowledge to the another system, and that's make stronger the whole system. Actually starts to connect the whole system together. And this is actually, if someone just wanted to Csermely Péter, that's the Hungarian mastermind about it. But if you search about network science, you might find about that later. Maybe I will just send you a link later, memes.
What was it? What was it called again?
Yeah, it's what about I just try to search it.
Because I was gonna say I apologize. I'm totally moonlighting on Kurt's channel as well. Some people are getting
Yeah,
bored with math. I'm going to encourage them with Wolfram Alpha. I'm going to claim true love, priceless. For everything else
yeah.
is
So
Wolfram Alpha.
I just sent you the name.
Okay.
He's Hungarian. Uh, if you search about his work, uh, the biochemist guy, I send you how he looks, because there is two famous German in Hungary. So so he's a networks scientist, or had been,
And
and
how did you come across this? Was this during your studies at university, or was it?
no, it's I'm like you. I'm searching, actually. Yeah, I'm searching the most advanced ideas on everywhere, and this is why I am a theorist researcher, I should say,
Hmm.
because I would like to know the most advanced theories and understand them.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, I mean,
and actually, you might know Barabashi Albert Laszlo about scale-free networks, or linked, book linked, called linked.
oh, I
Anyway,
have. Oh no, no, go on,
network
go on.
science.
I'm bringing it up. No, I forgot you sent it to me on Discord. I had closed Discord. That's why. Okay. There we go. Let's repeat that. Got it. Okay. No, but continue, sir. I'm sorry I cut you off.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, so I'm just searching ideas, and actually I'm happy. At Hungary there is lots of good ideas, and people working on every aspects of life. There is, yeah, I could move on. There's just too much. So let me know what you would like to talk about a little bit. You know your audience a little bit more. What is the most interesting for them to talk? Or
See, that's a good question. See, my audience is this is one of my strengths slash weaknesses, at least as a channel. It's I realized long ago when I got into the greater political spheres, you just choose a side, doesn't matter what side, and say a lot of good things about the people they like and a lot of bad things about the people they don't like, and a lot of people will flock to you. I've seen this occasionally when I did like more polarized videos, and I'm like, this is a terrible system, but that's a system. I'm more of don't hate the player, hate the game. I'm like, well, if this is the system, why do people do it? Because it works. All right, well, let me do the slow crawl, doing the things that I want, the things that I feel like are important to me and other folks, and that also entertain me, and put that out there. And whoever wants to watch, they can totally watch and stuff. Um, that's why I kind of go along that way, and basically we just kind of go through and just you do what you want, Um, my thing is, I listen to you and I'm like, okay, how about applications as well? Because people like it, don't get me wrong and stuff. I had was it oh god, Brad from Sonic Gravity podcast on, and he's like, well, I basically just kind of like did the deep dive after he was a member of the Navy, and he's like, well, the Navy basically said that UFOs, UAPs, are some they're real. He's like, what? Well, if that's the case, how the heck could like I figure out how to do that anti gravity stuff? And he's one of those people. And then it was on was it is it Dr. Matt O'Dowd of PBS Space Time? One of the things was it's like, well, it tugs on the left-handed, the Higgs field tugs on like the left-handed like electron or something. He's like, okay, what's the left-handed electron? It's like, oh, is it 246 electron volts or something like that, or mega electron volts, maybe giga, mega electron volts, I think. He's like, well, if I could neutralize that, that theoretically might do something. And he's made some claims. Again, I'm going to see some more things on video, but I've taken some of the things that he said. I'm like, let me. And again, he was a fellow honorable mention. I'm like, he apparently is trying to work some prototypes, and I'm like, that would be cool. I would love an anti-gravity surfboard. I need to learn how to surf, but I think that would be awesome. Thoughts about what the theory, jumping continuity theory that you're proposing, how do you think it could benefit humanity?
Yeah, so actually that's we talk about in sciences, applied sciences and basic science. So the basic science is to figure out the theories, how that everything works. The applied theories, you apply it to the world and use it like microwaves background, the or microwaves, sorry, the mobile phones and TVs and whatnot. So basically, my theory is still in. I claim, or I recently I think you can talk about basic theory and applied theory as well, because my theory is still it's basic theory. It's explanatory theory. That's it doesn't have a direct application. It's a it's a wide range of explanation how actually we are here in the human understanding. So and I try to synthesize everything we know as a science community and try to just get a world view out of it. So in that sense, you cannot see anything but can be applied. I can apply this worldview in my personal life. This is how I get. So this is how I see the world now, and that helps me. And that's I have a general view that could help everyone who understand this. Sorry, levels of understanding. And just a little bit what we talked about before. I am a lucky person. I had everything from life I can have, or anyone could wish, and I would like to give back what I can, and that's why I'm working hard to make that a little change in everyone's life. And I think that's I am capable of, and that's what I am trying to do. In the meantime, I still maintain my family, maintain my day-to-day job, and this is everything top on that. So I do it in my free time. I don't I that's my passion, but I know I have lots of time because I started early. That was some plan to do that. I start early. I have 20, 30 years to complete this whole story. And that's why I have patience. Also, that's the after knowledge, you have the patience and understanding. It's not, you won't be a YouTuber one day. It's a longer process. You need to build up. You need to do something. You have to have creative stuff. You know, I, I know this, and that's I am a patience, and I'm just a humble guy and doing my stuff. one step at a time. The first step, it was my video to share. Before that, actually 1 year before I joined the community, I sent Curt, hey, if you're interested, I will share this theory with you. And he was really polite. And I didn't even, he said, all right, thank you. Just please send me a PDF for the writing and then we will see. But I didn't even manage to do the PDF for him. And I just know I have time. So that's, and now the time came 2 years or 3 years after that, and now I just published my video because I think that is a really good way to explicate the theory. The theory is a little bit more complicated side. It's you need a little bit more visual things. Actually, let me just tell you
No, no,
something.
no, no, no. That's actually huge because even with the think tank that I'm with, one of the big things that we want to do is just visualizations because like we're very visual creatures as human beings. Those of us blessed that still have our eyesight and everything, it's like that is totally huge. And just share your stuff. I'm sorry, I'm gonna bloviate. Well,
Yeah, no, no problem.
I'll
Hello,
blow you
guys.
up. There you go.
So, well, so
Take a look.
actually, this is my last 5 year of work. So
Whoa.
So if you see that I have every time with me a book, a notebook, and I'm just writing and theorizing and understanding my theory better every day.
No. This gives me hope because at first I'm like, because you never know. It's like, and to be fair, I kind of did this bit before. It's like I would just kind of like throw some things out there. Okay, just to create. Some of the smartest people I know have similar notebooks to that. So no. Did you have some visualizations? I'm sorry, I cut you off before you started to share some.
No, it's all good, and I wish I could share everything with you today. I have the
This
book.
this is not an 8-hour live stream. I apologize. You're gonna have to go to Kurt's channel for that.
No, it's not about the time. It's about it is not ready to shown in this regard.
Okay.
So that's why I don't want to show that yet in publicly because it's not yet
If you want to no, if you want
polished.
to do something behind, because this is one of the things that I've noticed. Because like some folks like you're totally like we just record like a 40-minute video on your channel there, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I'd love to have you on. It's like, well, you want to do it like now? I'm like, give me like 10, 15 minutes, and yeah, let's do this. And now we're here and everything. Of course, I'm late because there's a 45th constant of the universe, and I'll be late. But my big thing is I love doing these because again, number one, I'm learning. Number two, just your passion is resonating here, and it's one of those things where, well, at least the folks that come along my side of the internet and stuff, they don't always agree on things, but that's fine because one of the nicest things I've been told by some folks, it's like, memes, I often disagree with you, but you at least seem fair. And I think that's what a lot of folks are looking for, people to be fair and honest with them. And it's like if you disagree with somebody, you don't need to destroy them in all capital letters with somebody doing some laser beam eyes in the thumbnail and stuff, because that's what works on the internet. I mean, you can do that. And people need to point things like that out. Don't get me wrong. Somebody needs to hold the Disney Channel accountable. Just say. But
Yes.
apparently. But your positivity and the positivity that you put out there, whether we code it as like good vibrations or stuff there, I don't know about any of that. I'm not a computer scientist, but I tend to believe in karma and that if you put good vibes out there in the universe, they'll return to you. And you know what? Maybe if you're not fortunate enough, maybe those good vibes will be enough to make the difference that we truly need to level up. And that's all I really got.
Yeah. All right. Actually, I would like to show you something. It's
Sure.
or two things.
Mm.
It's pretty easy, and if you open a little bit of thought experiments or just thinking about, I would like to show you something. It's easy to do, but might be a
Is
challenging
it
in.
possible you can share it in the private chat? Because if you mouse over, there'll be a thing that says private chat, and if you link it there, I'm looking through it in the Toe Discord. Right now, where am I? Where do I exist? Um,
Uh, I have just a question for you. It is an easy or an explanation.
okay.
Um, so basically, sorry. So can we go here or the
Oh
private
no
chat?
no no. Oh no no
Mhm.
no 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 no. I'm just looking for the thing I'm supposed to be sharing. Where
No,
is it on the Toe Discord? I'm on the Toe Discord now.
yeah, no. Sorry, you don't need to share anything. I just
Okay.
wanted to. I sent you the
Okay.
share my Peter, but it's fine. No, I just in voice. I would like to
Oh no
explain
no
it, and
oh
I'm
no we can talk afterwards. That's totally fine too. No, some folks like, and that's the thing I respect. It's like I've talked with some really smart people. Not do I love making content? Sure, of course, it's going to help me. I'm putting content out there for my YouTube channel. That's in my self-interest. But some people maybe they don't want that the idea to be public yet. And one of the things I've learned is eh, trust is something that's earned. It's also one of the easiest things to lose. So I tried my best to keep those conversations private and stuff. Might I Easter egg about maybe there's a hint that in retrospect down the line, somebody can go back and watch a video and be like, was he referencing that in an obscure way? I love those things. I love those things in movies. I love those things in video games. So that's why it's like, okay, if you're gonna live your life like it's in a movie or video game, let's do the best we can. So thank you, Whitechapel. Yes, Daniel's channel. It's in the link, and also Whitechapel's uh, has a link to your channel right there as
thank
well. You had a question for me.
thank you. Yes, yes. All right. So actually, I'm sure you know this, but we will see. So so imagine you you start to step one step further. You are
Mhm.
starting here, and you start just one step.
Okay.
Then you step again, but you step halfway how was the first.
Hmm.
Imagine you continue doing this. My question is for you. How far you will get?
Oh no. I feel like this has to do with logs. No, I watched a video on something like this before. I totally forget. I don't know.
Yeah, that's okay. What your thoughts about it? What is your intuition?
My normal intuition, or the intuition I have, is after I watched a smart person do a video on it. And my base intuition is, well, you should probably be able to get pretty far. And then I start to think about it. I'm like, okay, I go a meter, I go a half meter, I go a quarter meter, I go eighth of a meter. We're going down by very large components right there. And I think it was something you only get up to like, what is it, like 85 or 79% or something like that from like the total of like where it would be had you gone out like 3 steps or something like that. Um,
Yeah,
it was something
yeah,
about sines and pi or something. I completely forget what it is, but it was
yeah,
one of those things where you're like, this makes sense when you actually think about it. 'Cause I think there's a logarithmic curve there somewhere.
yeah. That's actually all right. So you get in the limit of this sequence, you get to the second step, but in the time frame, you could you could step to the infinite time. So in a space, you end up in two, but in time you end up infinite. So that's a thing I work with, and I try to understand better those limits. So one more thing about this is if you imagine a box in uh, like um, here,
Like a
how you
picture, yeah.
call
Hmm.
in front of you.
Okay.
So in front of you there is a box. It is empty. Let's say you raise your hand up. That's the first the 0 point. We raise our hand up here. That's the point the first point, let's say, and that is in this case we had nothing, and now we have in this sequence that is everything. So if we say the similar things, let's halve this distance. I have this distance. Let's halve this distance again. I have that. Let's halve that distance again. Half, and I do it until I cannot see the difference. So in human sense, in human understanding, in like 5,000 years ago, we had something like centimeter in this regard, because we had just our eyes as tools. In the last 500 years, let's say 300 years ago, we had microscopes. So then this distance went closer a little bit, because we have better tools to just say, all right, we don't touch, or I don't touch my hand.
We have much better precision, yes.
Breast precision. So we are getting closer, and today we have that even farther. But there is importance here. The 5,000 years ago, when I said, we had the everything as the box. Now we have, nothing in the box. Now we have everything in this sockos, how it's called. It's this range. And if I get to the minimum point, actually, where is the limit for human sense? Let's say 1 centimeter 5,000 years ago. When I build up from this 1 centimeter, I can tell what is this long, because I have the measure, the minimum measure. So I can say that is the first. My hand here is the 0. The 1 actually here will be the smallest amount of measurable thing, and I can build up to in this sense, the infinite is here, because we cannot go there. This is the end of this sentence. So infinite minus 1 in that smallest thing is the last point. So in this sense, we arrive to from the 0 to the infinite, minus 1 and plus 1, from the 0 point, from the infinite. And that's what I try to deal with jumping continuity theory. And if you try to grasp this idea, actually this is not that new. This is basically the calculus ideas here.
Infinitesimal calculus, because often we'll treat this infinitesimal as a 0, except when we don't. So that ends up being, well, there's something there. How small is it? Well, I don't know. How good are our instruments?
Yeah. So actually, I think that's a good thing to think about. And what 1/3. Yeah, that's right. So what is important here to understand? 5,000 years ago, that was 1/3, and let's say 300 years ago, that was 1 per 130, right? Because
it's turtles all the way down.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. You set it up perfectly. Thank you. Okay, finish. I love this. I love this. Continue.
And then we end up 1 per 100, because we was able to see with microscope. Now we end up to, it's 100 per 1,000 or something. So it's, in this sense, it's a little bit looks like exponential and even hyperbolic, because it's not just 100 per 100, it's 100 per 1,000. So it's even increasing the range. If you do the one range doesn't change, that exponential. If you increase the exponential change, that's hyperbolic. So that's where we are start to talking. This is about my theory in deep deep understandings. So I deal with these ideas and try to come up with useful analogy and try to grasp how to deal with those kind of things.
I'm very glad we had this conversation because, again, I feel like often a lot of us are talking about the same thing. There may be a slightly different conceptualization, visualization about what we have in our heads, but I don't know if it's just luck, the time, destiny, or the power cosmic that's bringing us together. But I'm very glad that we've done this. And thank you for your explanation there, because when you just started that in less than 2 minutes, I had a very kind of strange look on my face, kind of like, because what you just described was a much simpler way of kind of how I went through life. I use what I call asymptotic analysis. It's like, all right, what are the absolute bounds on what's going on? Because I stopped understanding math like halfway through the 6th grade when they tried to teach us how to cross multiply fractions. And my teacher was like, well, you don't need to know those today, but it'll be useful later. So I was just doodling in my notebook. And then we got up to like pre-algebra and it's 11th grade. It's like, well, now that you know how to cross multiply fractions, here are some letters. So it's totally lost. The one thing that I really took away was asymptotes were pretty cool. I'm like, wait, it can go up, but it never quite reaches this. So it's almost forever. And then it could just like zoom down and stuff. Like, I thought that was kind of cool playing on the calculator, aside from like the other games that we would upload that we weren't supposed to. But I really had fun with that. But I would go through my life like trying to like weigh out everything at the same time. You're like, well, once you have this information, it gets this closer. Once you have this precision, you get this much closer. It gets much closer. Or going in this way was the way you did it. But I'm like, oh, that requires a whole lot less brain power. Thank you. I think you uncomplicated a part of my life there, because like I feel like I was running like a massive simulation. I'm like, to think about things deeply, I'm like, wow, that's often very hard. But it's like what you just said there, I'm like, just even trying to recompactify it and code it in my own brain, I'm like, what Dude Man just said is useful to me. And since I'm a selfish person, thank you for me that. And it's like you said, it's like that sounds like what you were describing, how this has helped you. And if you can share that idea, pay it forward, if you will, put some good karma out there into the world, if we're going to use some of those words, or at least I have. If we're going to do that, let's put some good vibrations out there, my man. If we can help people come to terms with, like, because life can be difficult. It's like, it sounds like you're very blessed. I've been extremely blessed in my life. Not everyone is so fortunate. And I think that's something that we need to realize. And that's why it's good to help pay it forward to different folks, because you never know where the next good idea may come from. Like a lot of folks in the chat have been pointing out, it's like, hey, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's people from all different communities here. They're coming together because they chose, maybe the algorithm dragged them down here to kind of say hi to us. Maybe they're like, what's going on? What's this PACE hashtag that Memes has been talking about? A theory of everything? Well, Memes has a lot of crazy things. It's like, all I know is crazy people notice things too. Welcome, Gap. Welcome, everybody. But that's all I really got. You helped me right before I was actually wrapped up the dang show, so that was very useful. I feel like my mind's a little bit more at ease. But so, Daniel, why don't you tell us for 2023? Because rumor has it, at least within these chats, 2023 is the year to see. What are you looking forward toward 2023 and for the future of you, your channel, and your theory?
Yeah, all right. So yes, yeah. First of all, I would like to make lots of interview with people who share common understandings, or even has theories of everything. And the first step in this regard is about the Pace Fan contestants. You can see already James on my channel. You will see Memes of Distraction interview. We just get the interview before this chat. And actually, I'm looking forward to 2023. I hope it will be really great year. We might pass through the coronavirus at least, and then we are getting better overall. And I'm generally a positive people, so I like to see more about the positive. The James Webb Telescope as well will bring really good insights, and yeah, I will work on my theory for sure because that's what I do day to day, and I wish you guys all the best.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining, Daniel. And yes, thank you, Whitechapel. Daniel's link is in the doobly-doo as well as in the chat. Thank you, Whitechapel. QT Car, Gab After Dark, awesome one. Nolan, a lot of folks, names and faces that I've seen, a lot of folks that have helped intend me with different folks there. Hey, thank you all for joining. Peace out, everybody. And again, 2023, it's a year that I hear that a lot of good stuff's coming. Where's the thing? There's the thing. Peace out, everybody.
Although this is going to be weird, and it's going to be about a different.
Title of the conference was something like "Ground Truth" or "Turtles All the Way Down," and so it seems as though there's one Ruliad. I don't think it rules them all, and it might be just hyper Rulial turtles all the way down.
Yes, it's on the back of an infinite number of hyperrulial turtles.
Various people are commenting on the outrage of hacking the universe on a MacBook Air.